So check this out, a little morning breakfast routine. Making homemade granola. This is maple syrup coming from a farm up in Connecticut that my dad knows. A really good friend of my dad. Every time he comes down, he brings maple syrup that he brings from his own trees. And we got a little coconut oil. We got some granola, called old-fashioned oats, as some might say. Gonna pop it in the oven. We'll see what happens. Oh, you know what? I just found these in the closet, so let's actually throw these on there as well. So I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I woke up yesterday morning slightly under the weather, which in and of itself is very, very rare for me. Like I never get sick, ever. Like I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've been sick in the past like 5 years. Like I never get sick. And I have a little cold for sure, but nothing crazy, thank God. Thank God it's not the stomach bug that's been going around. Oh my gosh, yeah, thank God. But that being said, this morning I was like, you know what? I should probably not take a cold shower. I should probably like let the hot water, help with the congestion, whatever the case is, right? So it was funny. I was like, I was upset because I was like, man, I'm ruining my streak. I've been doing this every single day, no matter where I am, no matter the situation, no matter the time of the shower, since December 26th. That's over 2 months. And I was like, I did it in everywhere in New York where I was. I did it in Nashville. I did it in Atlanta. I was bummed. It was ruining my streak. But I was like, all right, whatever. And I was expecting to get in and be like, oh, I missed this. This is great. But I got in and I was like, this is not what it typed up to be. I actually missed the cold water. Like, I thought I'd be like missing, like, oh man, feels so good. I was like, the cold water actually feels better. You get a rush. And then it's just interesting. It was like, wow, this is, at least for me, overhyped. The cold shower was actually great, and I miss it, and soon to be back. That being said, I definitely spend one. Well, I don't feel like it's as good. You don't get like as much of a adrenaline rush. It also takes longer because you chill in the shower longer. And I stinking burnt my granola, man. This stinks. I did get almost about 10 hours of sleep last night, which is pretty remarkable for me. I'm usually like a 6.5 kind of guy, so 10 hours that's serious. So I'm very curious to try this out. Yes, the Keurig, because this weekend I spent way more time than I expected or planned descaling it with this K-Cup cleaner descaling thing. I mean, I think you had to run this thing 3 times full through, then more running. It was crazy. So I'm curious to see if the coffee tastes better now. Let's give this a shot. I mean, not gonna lie, it does look like it's coming out a lot smoother. Very interesting. Alright, the moment of truth. I guess it tastes a little clearer. Starting off this work morning, with some follow-ups to some potential client work. Really want to be making some more client contacts, so I really got to follow up with these people and see if there's anything that I could do for them. So I just got in from the garden, which first of all, I'm feeling phenomenal, just in the sense of I'm a little under the weather, but spending time outside and in the garden, more so in the greenhouse than typically outside, I feel great after. And it was a great immunity booster, and just made me feel great. That being said, my mom came and dropped off some soup for me, and the dogs were playing outside while she was running errands, and that's kind of why it's part of the reason I stayed outside a little longer. She made a comment that I thought was really cool, because I agree with, but also it sparked an idea. And she was like, I wonder if God opened the opportunity for this garden as a help for mental health for you, because I've struggled with anxiety in the past, and it's proven everywhere that spending time outside and in gardens can improve mental health. And I was like, it's funny you say that. I was actually kind of thinking the same thing. And I had also just watched a video on the financial benefits of a garden, but also in it, they were like, not only is it financially beneficial, but it's also mental health beneficial. I was like, this is really interesting, and it kind of sparked an idea. It's like, imagine the idea of opening up almost not necessarily like a clinic essentially, but people that struggle with anxiety or depression could come to the garden and spend time there as a way to improve their mental health, and maybe they don't have a garden of their own, or they don't really know what to do, don't know where to start, but it's almost a way to facilitate it. And it's like they just come and and they work towards something. Maybe they get a portion of the fruit or vegetables to take home. It was just an idea, and I was like, this is kind of cool, isn't it? It might take me a little bit to admit if I'm sick or not. Sometimes I'm in denial, but once I admit that I am, I do all the things to try to get better ASAP, taking echinacea, or drinking tea, which I never really drink, or even things like this, running a humidifier, doing all the things I can to recover quickly. Nothing like some good old homemade chicken soup. My mama.